One thing that you have to realize with Counter-Strike 2 is that nobody has it figured out. There is no player, there's no team, there's no coach out there that knows exactly what they are doing. So at the end of the day, if you're so caught up in, oh, dude, I'll never be able to beat this player, I'll never be able to improve, I'll never be able to be as good as these people that I'm facing against, that is the wrong mentality to have. So today we're going to talk about the mental that you need to have in order to overcome all of the challenges that you face and make sure that you give yourself the best chance to climb the ladder. Before we get into that, I have to give you a message from the sponsor of today's video. The sponsor of today's video is SkinPlace, a site where you can instantly and safely sell skins for real money. It really only takes seconds. To get started, you need to log in via Steam. Choose the skins that you want to sell. Next, choose a withdrawal method. Currently available are Visa and MasterCards, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and balance on site if you plan to withdraw money later. Enter your wallet number and do not forget to use my promo code CoJoMoCS for a 3% bonus on your first sale. When you have filled in the gaps, click receive money Viola. The funds will arrive in your account soon. I left the link to SkinPlace in the first comment. Have some good sales. Okay guys, so one thing that you have to understand is that we are all human. Every single player in this game is human, right? And outside of, the obvious cheaters and, even I guess Smurfs, every single person that you're playing against is going to be playing the same game as you. They are playing Counter-Strike, right? So I want you guys to stop thinking that you can never be as good as another player. You can never be as good as a certain team, because that is absolutely not true. If I would have given up and just accepted my place on the ladder, my place in the system when I was trying to become a professional player, I would have never grown to where I was. You have to have a little bit of an ego at the end of the day in order to progress, and you have to be able to believe in yourself, right? You don't need a toxic ego, but you have to be able to sit there and say, I am good. I am better than these players. I am able to win. I am able to outplay them this game. And when you're able to open up your mind, open up your mentality to have this confidence in yourself, it allows you to grow a lot better than sitting there and going, oh man, these guys are better than me. I don't know if I can beat them. They're more skilled. They've got more hours. They play the game more than me. Guys, at the end of the day, it's not about how many hours someone has. It's not about necessarily the experience that they have. It's about the now in this, the time that you are playing the game in this moment, right? If you're on Dust 2, it's about that Dust 2 match. It's not about the 500 Dust 2 matches they've played before. So always do your best to evolve. Always do your best to adapt, because at the end of the day, the way you get worse at Counter-Strike, the only way, there's literally one way to get worse, is by living in fear and not believing in yourself and not adapting and growing and getting better. When going back to my own individual career, I'll give you guys a little TLDR. I essentially found myself on my first ever team, and we played an ESEA Open, which is where your grandma can play. Anybody that has a brain and can connect, can play in the league, right? And I got destroyed, right? I've been 16-0'd back then in CSGO, 13-0'd multiple times, and those games suck. They're horrible. There's no way to get around it. The feeling is awful. It's always an awful feeling. As a competitor, it should hurt you to lose like that, right? But after that hurt, if you're able to look past that and literally copy and steal exactly what the other team was doing in order to dominate you, I am telling you, it will make you so much better. There's no cheat code. There's no secret to this game. Download a demo or watch back the POV and steal what they were doing. If it's something as simple as they were throwing this nade, start throwing that nade. Or if it's something more complex, like they were throwing this fake to have a guy lurk out into this position, then he cut off rotates and made the map cut in half, and then he won the round for them, right? There's so many different ways you can look at the game, but so many people don't do this because instead of adapting and learning from the direct, game that they were playing, they live in fear, and they don't want to open up. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be exposing themselves and seeing how bad they're playing. When you get 13-0'd, it's ugly, right? I guarantee you, if you got 13-0'd, you probably played like a noob in that game. You probably played bad. And I don't care if you have 10,000 hours plus. There was a reason you couldn't get a single round in the game, right? So it's hard to be vulnerable like that, but you can't grow without that. And one thing I want to remind you throughout all this process and all this time is those guys that are 13-0ing you have gotten 13-0'd in their career, 16-0'd, right? They've gotten absolutely battered in some game before, no matter what level they were at, who they were playing. There is so many layers to this game that's why you can't get caught up in, I'm here and these guys are better, I'll never be able to achieve that, or I'm just not capable of that right now. Every single person is capable of that. Maybe you are just not in the right situation, you're not in the right place, you don't understand something that they know, right? It took me forever in this game to even realize that something as simple as you can throw grenades and flashes and smokes infinite amount of ways. There's not just like 3 ways you can throw them or 4 ways. There's infinite amount of distances, right? This is just a mechanics example that I didn't even know. Or like we've covered in the channel in the past, that you can silent jump somewhere. You can jump onto something without making a single noise when you know, Mirage stairs, for example. Once you realize and understand some of these little tricks, mechanics, little micro things, you start to be like, oh, wow, you know, maybe I just needed to learn this stuff. And then when it comes to team play, it's like, oh, I never knew I had to communicate like this. I never knew I had to be like this for my team. So when you start to open up your mind and put yourself in situations where you are going to fail, that is where you will grow the most. When you fail, you learn so much, right? When you succeed, it's great. It feels awesome. It's very nice, but you don't learn as much. You can still learn a lot of stuff, but you truly learn and you truly grow through failure, right? I guess that's a good way to put it. You can learn through success, but you truly grow through that failure that you face. When you start failing, it really starts to show you who you are, who your team is, and what you are capable of growing into. Because, you know, there's people that will just crumble. There's people that will give up. There's people that don't think it's worth it anymore. And all they did was prove everybody right. All they did is prove themselves right, that they don't have what it takes, that these people are better. The only way that those people are always going to be better than you is if you just give up. If you never take that risk, take that chance to learn and grow, of course they're going to be better than you. But yeah, guys, that's just something that I've learned along my way, both through individual playing and team play. I've gone from being an open player, being a face at level 5, 6 player, and transforming into, at my peak so far, top 3 on the leaderboards for face individually, playing an FPL, playing across the world in Counter-Strike 2 events. It's been a beautiful thing, and I've learned so much, and I've grown so much as a player through all of this process. Anytime you're going to be a competitor, you have to understand that there's layers and there's steps that you have to take in order to get to where you need to be, but always have that ego and that confidence that you belong where you are. You belong in that server with those players that in your brain you might think are so much better, right? You belong there. They're having to play you, they're having to sit there and you know, be in the game with you, right? So at the end of the day, always remind yourself of where you are, how far you've come, and the progress that you have made along the way. And always surround yourself with players that are going to be able to build you up and transform you to a greater person and a greater player every single day. Day by day by day, you should be building that and making sure you can do everything you can to get yourself in the right environment and the right circumstances to succeed. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I do offer coaching services if that is something that you want to get better. We do paid individual coaching, demo review, and team review. So I'd love to work with some of you as students. Go ahead and check out the form in the description of the video. Thank you to the viewers, the sponsors, everybody. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.